discussing something about 8th standard social science first unit called sources. See, dear students, today we are going to learn something about sources. So, in this chapter, we are going to deal with sources required to the study of history, types of sources of history, and importance of the archaeological sources, and importance of the Almadi inscription, and importance of oral sources in history. So these are all the aspects comes under the unit called sources. So today we are going to discussing something about only the meaning and importance of sources. The meaning and importance of the meaning and importance of sources. Okay, dear students, history is a systematic study of the past. History is written on the basis of sources. Hence, there is no sources, there is no history. So, sources is the prime importance to the construction of the history. So, historian is like an advocate. Historian is like an advocate. The advocates present their arguments on the basis of followed evidences and sources related to their case. In the same way, similarly, historians collect too much of sources, subject them to critical examination, analysis, and then write the history. Historians to collect sources and subject them and critical examinations and analysis and then write their history. So whenever direct sources are not available, they need to make assumptions based on the available sources. Hence, often an event is analyzed from different perspectives by different historians. So, what is sources? Dear students, now you know what is sources mean. What is sources? What is sources? ಆಧಾರಗಳು ಎಂದರೇನು? See, dear students, the sources means human beings had created many facilities to lead their life since ancient times. If the things used by human beings in the past time have remained, our previous societies, human beings from the ancient times, they left so many things like utensils, their houses, and so many things are left and they went away. Such kind of things historians have been collected. Then they are collected all those things and subject them and examine them and analysis them. So finally construct the history. So that those things what we call sources. I mean, which are the materials very much useful to construction of history, they are called sources. Which are the materials helpful to the construction of history. They are called sources. They are called sources. Which are the materials helpful to the construction of history? They are called sources. ಯಾವ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಇತಿಹಾಸವನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಲು ಇತಿಹಾಸವನ್ನು ಬರೆಯಲು ಸಹಾಯಕವಾಗುತ್ತದೆಯೋ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆಧಾರಗಳು ಎಂಬುದಾಗಿ ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. Means human beings in the past have remained, they are called sources by the historians. Hence, the archaeological tools left by the earlier people, archaeological tools left by our ancestors, and some agricultural tools, and religious buildings, temples, inscriptions, arms, temples, inscriptions, books, and so many aspects, arms also, and other religious buildings also, forts, coins, and religious buildings. These are all several aspects our ancients or left to us, left by the earlier people. So that these are all very best examples for the sources. And similarly, several documents, written documents also. And whenever several written documents also left us, and the materials needed for the writing of history are the primary sources. These sources can be divided into two different types. See, they are literary works and some archaeological works also left by our ancestors. So that these are the very best examples of the sources. So sources means which are the materials helpful to the construction of history is called as sources. So they are archaeological tools, agricultural tools, temples, inscriptions, books, forts, coins, literary works, I mean written document, are the sources, which are also very much helpful to construction of history. All those sources enlighten on our ancient people's societies, their lives, their administration, their religious works, and their social system. So many aspects we can easily learn from the sources. I mean these things. That's why these are all the very much helpful materials to construction of the history. These kinds of sources we can divide it into two different types. They are literary sources and archaeological sources. Types. Number one is literary sources, another one is archaeological sources. Literary sources and archaeological sources. One is returnable sources and archaeological sources. One ಬರಹರೂಪದ ಆಧಾರಗಳು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಪ್ರಕಟನ. See, what is a literary source? Literary sources means the so many things or so many evidences available in the form of writing. So I mean written literature is the main source of literary sources. Written literature. Written literature is the main source of literary source. So that which are the returnable aspects are there, all those things we considered as literary sources. In literary sources, again they are categorized into two different types. One is written literature and oral literature. One is written literature and oral literature. See, literary sources can be divided into written literature and oral literature. See, written literature means returnable documents or returnable sources considered as written literature. See, dear students, these are all considered as sources. These sources are very much helpful to construction of history. See, when we are going to observe, written literature can bring contemporary social life of ancient times by writers alive to us. A literary work portrays the then existing aspects of life either directly or indirectly. There are two types of written literary forms. One is native literary forms and foreign literary forms. One is native and another one is foreign. Native literature and foreign. Foreign literature. ದೇಶೀಯ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದು ವಿದೇಶಿ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ. There are two different types in written literature. One is native, another one is foreign literature. What is native literature? Native literature is created by Indians in native languages, is called as native literature. The literature created by Indians. The literature created by Indians. Created by Indians in their native languages. In their native languages. In their native languages. Especially Sanskrit, Prakrit, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, Marathi, Kashmiri, Gujarati, Oriya, Tamil, and some other languages. Especially Kautilya's Arthashastra. That is the beautiful Indian, one of the beautiful Indian native literature. Kautilya's Arthashastra. Kautilya's Arthashastra. And another one is King Ola's Gatha Saptasati. King Ola's Gatha Saptasati. Gatha Saptasati. King Ola's Gatha Saptasati. And Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa. Kalhana's Rajatarangini. And Prithviraja Chauhan's Prithviraja Raso, and Chanbarda is Prithviraja Raso, Pampa's Vikramarjana Vijaya, Sangam literature, Padurpatu, Pattupattu, many other such literary works can be named as native literature. The works portray than contemporary social lives, religious lives, economic life, cultural and political life of the people. See, these are all considered as native literary sources. And come to the foreign literary sources. Many foreigners who visited India has travels as an ambassadors, businessmen, officials, and missionaries have traveled to some other nations and their observations and experiences in their works. These works considered as foreign literatures. I mean, foreign ambassadors, travelers, visitors, officials, and some missionaries who visited to another countries where their observations and experience worked in the form of writing. So such kind of several sources we consider as foreign literature or foreign literary sources. And for example, Megasthenes Indica and Siyuki's Gogoki, Yuansang's Siyuki, Fahian's Gogoki, Yuansang's Siyuki, Ptolemy's Geography, and Barber's Tujik-e-Barbary, and so many other books who wrote by foreigners, travelers, visitors. So that these are all considered as depiction of contemporary social, political, economic, cultural and administrational aspects. So, exaggeration, hyperbole and loyalty to one's master and appropriate in native literature, similarly in foreign literature. Due to lack of knowledge, many misgivings are recorded. These are the drawings written literary sources. Historians have the challenge of writing, keeping in the mind all these limitations, so that foreign literary sources also very much helpful to construction of history. And another literary sources is oral literature or oral literary sources. Here oral literary sources means the folk story, the folk songs and folk legendary stories, folk ballads and others that pass from one person to another person or one generation to another generation mouths since the beginning of human life. Human beings have their experiences in the form of stories, songs and ballads and transfer these to generation. So that's such kind of sources what we call as oral literary sources. And for example, there are so many folk songs are there, ballads are there, and some stories have been created in their local heroes. Like there are ballads of Kumara Rama in Ballari, Chitradurga, and Kempegowda, Nadu Kempegowda stories, Tippu Sultan stories, Sangoli Rayana stories, Kitturu Chennamma stories, Sindhura Lakshmana stories, and so many others. Legends mean the local mythological stories. Every place will have their own legends. There are legends behind the names of places like Shravanabelagola, Bengaluru, Koppada, Pattadakallu, Gokarna and Mysore. Similarly, every village and town have their own legends, so that these folk stories, folk tales and songs, ballads have been considered as oral literary sources. Oral literary sources. Oral literary sources also very much helpful to the construction of history. So these are other aspects comes under the literary sources. ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯಾಧಾರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಹ ರೂಪದ ಆಧಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಮೌಖಿಕ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಹ ರೂಪದ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯಾಧಾರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಶೀಯ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯಾಧಾರಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ವಿದೇಶಿ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ. ದೇಶೀಯ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯಾಧಾರಗಳು ಎಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ literature created by our Indians, native peoples, in their own languages is called as the native literature. We have so many languages like Gujarati, Kannada, Telugu, Prakrita, Sanskrit, Tamil, Urdu, Hindi, Marathi, Kashmiri. In these local languages, created several literature by our Indians. So, such kind of literature we call it as native literature. I am already told to you so many examples like Kautilya's Arthashastra work, King Ola's Katha Saptasati, Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa, and Kallana's Rajatarangini, and Bhanavatta's Arshacharitas, and Brahmi's Tariq-hi Fairuz-hi, Chand Bardai's Prithviraj-Vasu, Pampa's Vikramarjuna Vijaya, Tamil Sangam literature, Pattupatu Padarapatu literature, and so many words can be named as many literary sources. And foreign literature, many foreigners who visited to India as an ambassadors, businessmen, officials, and in the form of missionaries, have travelled across our country and visited so many historical places and visited several palaces, king's palaces, where they were observed so many things and they have feel their own experiences and all their observations and experiences in their works. Such kind of works we call it as foreign literary sources. Such kind of works, foreign literary sources. Are you understand, dear students? For example, Ptolemy's Geographies, Megasthenes Indicus, Yuan Sang's Siyoki, and so many other, Fahian's Gogoki, and so many other books are considered as the foreign literary works. Are you understand, dear students? And oral means Maukika. Several aspects or stories transferred from one mouth to another mouth. They are called oral sources in the form of folk story, folk songs, ballads, and others that passes from one person to another person. They are called oral sources. That oral sources also enlighten our ancient people's lifestyle, sociological system, their financial system, their administration, their day-to-day life, all those things tells us. For example, Kumara Rama's ballads, Manike Ogoba of Chitradurga, Nadaprabhu Kempegowda, Tippu Sultan's, Sangoli Rayana's story, Kitturu Channamma's story, Sindhura Lakshmana's stories, and so many other legendary stories, even local mythological stories. These stories explains the contemporary social lives and their administrational lives, and that helpful to the construction of history. So that these are the sources very much helpful to construction of history is called as sources. Have you understand, dear students? I hope that you will understand very much. Remaining things will be discussed on tomorrow's class. Thank you. Thank you one and all.